parents are asking, when should we talk to our children about death? One Cleveland elementary school says second grade, it's way too young. 7-year-old Nicholas Millsap's baby brother was born with his umbilical cord wrapped around his neck, and sadly, he did not survive. Understandably, baby Noah has been a very big part of the Millsap family as they mourn. So when Nicholas was asked to do a school project about who he is, he included a family picture of his stillborn brother. Here's what happened next.
Teacher then told him that she was not going to allow him to have that picture there, that he had to redo it. And if they want to grade him lower, then they can grade him lower, because I refuse to make him feel as if he cannot be proud of his brother.
All right, so the principal of Old Brooklyn Elementary School says given the age of the children in the class, they did not believe the subject in the photograph was appropriate and that the decision was made in consideration of all the students. I want to bring in psychologist Dr. Tiffany Sanders to talk more about this. Dr. Tiffany, thanks so much for being here. Do you think that the school made the right decision?
You know, I absolutely agree with the school's decision. The family obviously want to, you know, commemorate or honor their brother's death or their son's death, but bringing it to school where children who have no relation or connection to this family, it will be a difficult emotion and experience for them to process. They're only roughly age 7 or 8, and many of these children may not have experienced any level of grief or death or mourning before, and so bringing that there at that moment may open a bag of worms that those children just aren't ready to process.
So how do you think, in your expert opinion, the family should have dealt with this situation in the first place, seeing that they had a young son and they had a child that didn't survive?
Absolutely, and it's very heart-wrenching to know that that child didn't survive. And I understand that they want to, you know, honor that child, but bringing it to school isn't the best thing. So what they probably want to do is do something at home amongst other family and friends that were aware that that woman, the mother, was pregnant, and have them talk about it amongst themselves and honor that baby's life that unfortunately did not have a chance to live. But projecting that or pushing that on little kids who are unrelated to the family is just not a smart idea.
Dr. Tiffany, when do you think is a good time to talk with your children about death in general, whether you've experienced it in your family or not?
So I believe the best time to talk to your kids is, you know, with situations. So if you had a pet that died, a loved one, or a family friend that passed away, and that child knew who that person was, it's okay to talk with your child about how they may feel, you know, what death means, the finality of death. You don't want to associate death with sleep, so you want to use developmentally appropriate language for that child to understand that death. Mm-hmm. And that situation is going to vary based on every child.
Yeah. Going back to the situation with the boy at school, isn't there something to be said, though, for the fact that he's not burying it? Because you certainly don't want your kid to not talk about it. At least he's out there and he's sharing it and he's talking about it, right? Because then he means he's dealing with it.
Right. Right, and you really want the kid to process those emotions. You don't want him to bury them. But bringing it to school and, you know, rehashing or telling the story at school isn't the best way. He can speak with the school social worker, the school psychologist, someone who's trained to help him process those emotions. Bringing it in front of his classroom and continuously talking about it and getting assigned a grade for the project is not going to be the best idea to help this mother, help her child process the death of his brother.
Right. But after all, he is a child, and, you know, it's difficult to decipher between right and wrong in that situation, and childs really wear their emotions on their sleeves, don't they? Dr. Tiffany, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. Melissa.
Thanks, Yasmin. So